All right, we are back here in the studio on the Crimson Corner podcast, and today I am joined by two very special guests. I've got Levi Couvert and Jett Hatch, both from the Evergreen, both involved in Murrow in multiple different ways. Levi's got a country music thing going on. Make sure to check him out. And then Jett's got all sorts of stuff out on the internet, bracketology, you name it. So how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. Really happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk some ball.
Yeah, so today we're going to get into kind of some college football talk. There's a lot to talk about. Rankings just released, a few hours ago.
Yep.
Got plenty to talk about. Just to kind of start, where are you guys thinking? What's the reaction to the rankings that just came out?
I'm positive this year. They've done a lot more eye test looking at the rankings. In the past, I think they looked too much at the analytics that kind of just led some teams a little higher and then kind of favored some conferences. And so now I think they're doing a better job at looking individually at the teams instead of just kind of clumping them and then putting teams wherever the numbers say they should go.
Yeah, I mean, I think strength, I like that they're taking more account to strength of record this year. I think that's good. And, I mean, as many SEC and Big Ten teams that are in there, I agree with you. I like the approach they're taking the case-by-case, resume basis. I think it's a lot better. Last year, I think it was just a figuring it out process, right? And first time in the 12-team playoff. It's hard to jump out to that. Levi, how did you think about the rankings?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a West Coast guy. I'm a Coug fan, but I think a lot of people unfairly attack the college football playoff committee saying, oh, it's all these SEC teams. And at the end of the day, those probably are the best teams. And so I don't have a whole lot of anger, despite I would love the Pac-12 to someday get back into that conversation. But right now it's the Big Ten and it's the SEC, and I think those are the best teams in the country, so they deserve it.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of talk. We've got, who are the locks, who's on the bubble, who's really officially out, especially after this first ranking and going into the schedule going so far. So, I mean, locks, easy to start. You've got Ohio State, you got Indiana. Anybody in the top five, I think, are for sure locks. Who else you guys got in that area?
So for right now, I have Ole Miss is in. They play Florida and Mississippi State to close the season out. They're 9-1. They're ranked 7 today, actually. They were 6, and then Texas Tech hopped them. But I still think Ole Miss is safe. I think Oregon is good because we were kind of talking about it a little bit before. Even if USC beats them, they'll both be 10-2. I think that would just add a fourth team in for the Big Ten. I think Texas Tech is in. They're head and shoulders the best team in the Big 12. Notre Dame 7-2, easy strength of schedule left. They're sitting at 9 right now. They're all right. What do you have for locks?
Yeah, I basically would agree. I think there's 8 teams I have as locks. Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, A&M, Oregon, Indiana, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and then I think Texas Tech. As long as they win the Big 12, they're in. So somebody from the Big 12, but I mean, it's probably going to be Texas Tech. So there's 9 right there. Plus, you have to throw in 2 more conference champions, which really means there's only 1 more spot up for discussion. If you assume, the ACC, somebody's going to get in there, somebody's going to get in from another conference.
Yeah, so going to the bubble, I was thinking kind of like you. It's going to be the ACC, and then I think it's going to be the American.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, I think the best chance James Madison has is if North Texas wins, actually, because they don't really have – their strength of schedule isn't there. Their strength of record isn't high. They don't have a power conference win. I know South –
Well, I think in that case you got to compare, who beat the Cougs by more, because North Texas, they beat us by a lot. If James Madison just barely squeaks past us, I mean, there's a real argument North Texas is a better football team.
I think the issue with head-to-head is when you look at the time of the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the big issue there. But looking at the bubble now, right now I think it really comes down to how well BYU does.
I agree, absolutely.
If BYU wins out and then plays Texas Tech close, an 11-2 team that's right now sitting at 12, they're going to move up a couple spots into the top 10. My issue with that, though, is I think they lose to Cincy.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible.
Yeah.
That's a tough game.
Is there a possibility that Cincy could be on the bubble?
Right now they're at 25. That'd be a long. I mean,
if they went out, 10-2.
The issue with that, though, is then they'd play Texas Tech.
They'd probably lose.
And I think Texas Tech beats them 10-3 Cincinnati.
So can I ask you, Jett? You're the expert here. Who are the teams that are still viable in your opinion on the bubble? How many are there?
So right now, how it goes, actually, I'm looking at 2 teams. Specifically, I'm an analytical guy, so if you look at Texas beat Vandy and held on. They have Georgia and A&M left, and no matter what, Vandy is not Georgia and A&M right now. So I think Texas will be 8-4 at the end of the season. And then if you keep looking, Texas is 10, Oklahoma's 11, BYU's 12, Utah's 13, but they don't have any wins that'll boost them into the top 10. And then neither does Miami. And Miami always loses a cold game in November, and they have to travel to Pitt last week.
Not an easy game whatsoever.
So that'll be tough. And then I think once you get to Georgia Tech, I think Georgia Tech has Georgia. I think they lose that one. They'll have to win the ACC. I mean, you keep going further and further. It's just not looking well. My case, honestly, is Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I think even if they lose to Bama, one of the things the committee looks at is strength of record and strength of schedule. And right here I have, especially with the BYU loss to Cincy, Oklahoma's strength of schedule is 16th right now, but the remaining strength of schedule is 7th.
Ooh.
Whereas BYU's strength of schedule is 28th, and the remaining strength of schedule is 40th.
Mm-hmm.
So how they determine is if your strength of schedule is close enough, usually you're all right.
Yeah.
So it's not like the end-all be-all if you're 5 or 10 spots. But analytically, they go off of the standard deviation formula.
Mm-hmm.
And so what'll happen is if Oklahoma will be around the 10 to 12 strength of schedule, and BYU will be around 30.
Okay.
A 20-spot difference in the standard deviation formula would give them about a game difference. And so a 9-3 Oklahoma team and a 10-2 BYU team, they're basically saying the records don't really matter as much.
Yeah.
Because Oklahoma has 3 ranked wins, and BYU would only have 1.
Yep. And that's against Utah?
And that's against Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you feel if a team like Miami does finish 10-2?
I'm not.
Because I feel like I kind of agree. I see what you're saying about BYU, but Miami, they have a couple of decent wins. They beat Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. If Miami's 10-2 and Oklahoma's 9-3, I think I would take Miami.
I would take Oklahoma because, especially if we're looking at the losses too.
Really?
It was a close loss to Ole Miss, and then the Texas loss to me. You're bringing Mateer back 2 weeks after a hand surgery.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, Mateer really hasn't looked the same since then.
Mm-hmm.
But before that,
But then it brings up the argument of if your quarterback doesn't even look like himself, how can you say we're a top 12 team in the country when our quarterback hasn't played well since he got hurt in October?
Resume matters so much, man. It really does. That's what they're looking at. Yeah.
Resume is a big part of that. And then at the beginning of the year, it was funny because with Mateer, you had good quarterback play, and then they got Jaden Knott from Cal out of the transfer portal, and it was like, our run game's going to be good. We got the quarterback. We're fine. The run game wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was once they brought Mateer back, they knew the run game had to be established, and that's what they've done since then. So we're saying if they bring it all together, look out for Oklahoma.
I'm on board with you, man. I really think I am. I mean, I think if either of the SEC teams are a 3-loss team and BYU's a 2-loss team, I think they get in either way. And I haven't been as deep in the strength of record and strength of schedule stuff as you've been, but I think even just eye test and pure going off ranked wins and strength of competition, just looking at the schedule, I'm still taking a 3-loss SEC team over BYU all day. And I mean, I think Bear's a great quarterback, and I think he's played well this season, but the Texas Tech game was the real time I think we saw what this BYU team looks like. If they fall behind early, they can't win a football game. And so I think they're going to lose. Even if they make the Big 12 championship game, I think they're going to lose to Texas Tech again. And I don't think that matters. Even if they're the Big 12 runner-up with 2 losses to Texas Tech, like, one, there's the head-to-head against Texas Tech, and then 2, like, again, like I said, even if Oklahoma loses to Bama, I'm still taking Oklahoma too. So I completely agree with
BYU,
you
they
there.
have 1 loss right now? Or they have 2?
They're a 1-loss
They have
team.
1 loss right now.
So I don't like that what you're saying over here, Connor, because it feels like if BYU and Texas Tech are both 11-1, let's say BYU wins. I know you think they're going to lose another game, right? You're saying?
Yeah.
But let's say they don't. Let's say they win out 11-1 BYU versus 11-1 Tech. To say to BYU, hey, if you lose to Tech, you're out, why would BYU even play that game?
So this is
You might as well just call. What's the point of playing that game for BYU? They probably will lose, so they might as well just say, "Oh, we're going to forfeit, and you better put us in the playoff," because they're going to be, if they win out, they're going to be in the top 12 ranking wise.
well, okay. Ranking's another different thing too because right
the,
now
the selection committee would have ranked them in the top 10 if they're 11-1.
they would be in the top 10.
But if they lose, they might fall out of it. If they lose the Big 12 championship game,
I don't think
That
the
just
ranking
seems
changes if they
absurd
lose
to me.
out. If they lose in the Big 12 championship game, I don't think that adjusts their
so if
ranking
they go
anymore.
It would.
11-2, you're saying they should be in. If
No.
BYU, then that means they're going to lose.
No,
they're going to
because
drop
the
in the ranking.
resume again, the resumes of the 3 last SEC teams get
There's-
ahead
no,
of
there's-
them regardless.
There is no way they would put a 9-3 Oklahoma over an 11-1 BYU.
I think they would. I agree with Jett.
Oh, see that
I don't think so.
It
11-1.
Oh,
BYU is
depends.
11-1.
It depends on when they lose. Because last year was a big one with SMU, was 11-1. I think they were 8, if I recall.
Right.
And Rhett Lashley kept pushing that. If we lose, why would we even play this game? If you put
Exactly.
Bama in
It's the
over
same
us?
argument as SMU. And I get that SMU didn't do great in the playoffs last year. But it seems to me like if you start to make the precedent of, the Big 12, even if they both have one loss, we're only going to put the winner in, then the loser, the team that's not favored, should just say, we don't want to play this game. And that's unfair to them. I mean, how can you say, you're 11-1, you're a top 10 team, but if you lose the championship game in your conference, now because you had to play Oklahoma, they're not going to be in the championship game, right? They're the 5th best team in their own conference. It seems kind of crazy to me. I don't know.
So I personally would advocate for Oklahoma, and last year I advocated for Bama, especially last year because SMU's strength of schedule was 80th, if I recall, and Alabama's was 20th.
Right.
And I think that matters big time.
So it's always hard to predict, especially for college football, because one, there's only so few spots, and there's so much inconsistency year in and year out.
Right.
And so going back, the standard deviation formula is huge because they basically tier teams into about 10, 15, 20, depending on how much the formula and how big of a difference it is.
Yep.
So last year, a 60 ranking difference would have been huge.
Mm-hmm.
But it still wasn't enough for them to say 11-win SMU deserves to be out for a 9-win Bama. And I think it's the same argument this year. It might come down to that.
It is. And the issue, and I think you're right, BYU would be in, and I think that's the safe thing to do. I think that's usually kind of how they tend to go.
Right.
Because if not, then why even play championship games?
I think they will go away with it eventually.
Well, here's my proposal. Here's what I'd do if I'm the committee. The 12 teams, not enough. You need to do 16 teams and just do this. We're going to give the top 2 teams in all Power 4 conferences get in. So now you don't have this conference championship drama anymore.
You know what they would do then is they would have 1 play 4 and 2 play 3 for the 2 spots. That's what they would
They
do.
could if they wanted
Yeah.
to, but you can do
would.
that. You say the top 2 from each of the 4 power conferences are in, and then you take 2 G5 champions, and then you take 6 at-large, and if you want to say all 6 at-large for the SEC, I'm fine with that. Throw in all bunch of SEC but I would say you can't have this question every single year of, 2 teams in the conference championship game. If the loser is out, it just doesn't feel right.
So if we're going on about the expansion, I'm a personal rankings lover. I think we just have to find the right people. My issue with the committee is this year it's 12 people.
Right.
We need more than 12 people.
Yeah.
I can get behind that, absolutely.
And then the reason I think 16 is the number, and the reason I think it's 16 is because last year Ohio State was going to win it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But if you go back and you look at Georgia and Oregon on defense.
Yep.
They had almost a month off, and their tackling was so poor in that game.
Right.
Yeah.
Arizona State was down, 17 halfway
Yep.
through the fourth, and then all of a sudden they kick it into gear. Well, no wonder they had almost a month off.
Yeah, get buys out of the college football
buys
should
out of
not
it.
I can
have
agree with
buys.
that.
Get
Absolutely.
buys out
In
of
college
there.
basketball, even if you're the number 1 seed, you still have to beat the number 16 seed to move on. And in college football, it should be the same way. You don't need a bye week for the number. I mean, that just, it seems, and especially when you're going to give it to Boise State of all teams last year.
At least they changed that. But even going further, Ohio State and Notre Dame didn't have a conference title game.
Yep.
They played 12 games, so they technically got that bye.
Yeah.
And then they got a home game in the first round.
Yeah.
So it's like you're giving them an advantage, especially with the transfer portal. The talent is spreading out a little more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving those teams an advantage when really the rankings are getting tighter every year.
Yeah. And it's college sports. Anything can happen. You know, even if it's like a G5 team as the number 16 seed, which it probably would be, against the number 1 team, like, you never know. And even if that's the case, maybe there's one blowout. But then the other 7 games are probably going to be close enough that I want to watch. I don't want to watch buys. I want 8 games in the first round.
The one thing I would kind of combat that with is right now the 5-12. I don't know. So I think the group of 5 most time would kind of get smacked up.
But I think for them, it's not about winning. It's about being there. Would you agree? It's about the honor of saying we made the playoff.
My issue with this is I'm a traditionalist. I loved the 4. It probably should have expanded, but the reason I liked the bowl system for it was because Tulane had a chance to go into Dallas and to beat Heisman winner Caleb Williams and number 10 USC.
Right.
There's a difference between 2 and 10.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think, especially for Tulane, that skyrocketed them. Fritz went to Houston. Pratt was an NFL quarterback after that. They were able to bring in Summerall.
Yeah.
So it was a huge thing for Tulane after that. And so I would love to see other Group of 5 programs be able to boost their program off of a big bowl game win instead of getting to the playoff and just going into a Big Ten school, a cold stadium, and just getting smacked up.
Yeah, I think I can get behind that. Like I like the G5 whole honor thing. I get the system, but I think I'm on board with you on that. It makes a ton of sense. So, I mean, are we advocating, would we want the 16 team, or do you guys feel like the 12 is where it's at, or even less?
I'm going 16.
16.
I'm on board with that. Absolutely.
You can't go lower. I think 16 is the best we can do from now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. All right, so last thing to kind of touch on before we get out of here. Who are you guys picking for the national champion? Maybe the 2 teams that you think are going to be there, and then who's going to win the national champion? Regardless of seeding right now, just kind of where are you at?
Oh, man.
I think it's tough. It's a close conversation.
It is. Right now, I think Ohio State, I know they haven't played anybody. I just think that wide receiver, that receiving room is like NFL level with Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
So I think they'll kick it into gear, especially with the Patricia defense.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, my gosh.
They've played stifling over the entire season. Top 5, if not best defense in the country, I would argue. At the very least, yeah.
And then the reason, kind of going off last year, they were just the most talented team. I think that's the same this year. And then kind of going off the same thought process of a team who won't play in the conference title will get a home game after a bye, and then because it's about 2 weeks between.
Yeah.
They'll get technically another bye and then a game. So I would have to look at like a Georgia or an Ole Miss, because I think right now it'll be Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Alabama will get the byes.
Yeah.
So I would look at that 5 or 6 range. Probably Ole Miss, just because I really like Trinidad Chambliss, and they have a lot of talent, explosive offense. So, yeah.
I think anybody from the top 5 would be. I would say Ole Miss. You barely beat the Cougs. I don't think they win at all. I do agree. Georgia definitely could make a run. I think Bama could make a run. I actually think Indiana could make a run. They're winning close games, but they're winning, and I think that matters. And my wild card team is Texas Tech. I think if assuming they win out, I think they are a dangerous. If they might be the 7-8 seed, somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
think if they're a dangerous team, don't take Texas Tech lightly if you are a team like Bama or Georgia.
Yeah, so I'm going to get on board with the Ohio State train. Again, I think they've had one of the best defenses since Matt Patricia's been there. Talent-wise, they're there. I mean, I hate to pick repeat champions, but I think this is definitely an opportunity for them. And I've heard Ryan Day talk recently, and he's recognized that their schedule, they haven't played somebody that they've really felt has been in a significant challenge yet. And so I think they're ready to kick it into gear. And when they get into the playoffs, I think they're going to just kick ass. Like, I think that team is ready to go. So I definitely have Ohio State locked into that championship spot, especially with the bye. I don't think they're going to have issues. Even if they start the game slow, they should turn around quickly. I like A&M as the team to go against them in the national championship. I've felt really good about this turnaround. Just since the new coach has taken over the program, I think things have been great. This is one of their best years in a long time in terms of picking up statement wins. You've got the LSU Mizzou wins. Obviously, those don't look as great now, but they were ranked wins at the time. They've handled business against all the schools that they should be handling business against. And then that Notre Dame win still looks great to this day. So I'm feeling good. Texas could give them trouble in the last game of the season, but I don't think that matters regardless. I like A&M a lot. But the more complete team is Ohio State. The Buckeyes just have been so good. And I think that they're going to thump Indiana in the conference championship game. I love Fernando Mendoza, but I think Ohio State's going to be the real deal. And, yeah, so I have the Buckeyes winning the championship. So, yeah, but I think that's going to do it for now for our playoff predictions. Next, we're going to get into a couple of mini segments from both of our guests. All right, again, back in the corner here with Jett and Levi. We're going to do a quick little segment with Jett here called Jett's Bets, something he does on Murrow News 8, one of my favorite things to watch on socials. So take it away, Jett.
Yeah, so this week for Jett's Bets, I did really well last week, actually. It was amazing. I've been super inconsistent, but it's betting, that's how it is.
It's hard, man.
So my record's 24-21 this year. First pick of the week is Memphis, 2.5-point underdog, actually, at East Carolina.
I saw that. I was surprised.
I think it's an overreaction, personally.
Yeah.
They lost by 6 to Tulane last week. East Carolina is 4-1. Technically, they are in the running for the American title game, but there's a reason they're not being talked about. I think Memphis will bounce back. Brendan Lewis was healthy. Mm-hmm. He'll be back. Memphis will win. I feel very confident in that. San Diego State, only 3-point favorite at home against Boise. Boise just announced Maddox Madsen is out for Saturday.
Ooh, that's a big deal.
That's a big one. And then when they lost 30-7 to Fresno, Fresno only had 35 passing yards. So San Diego State's on a roll. They're coming back from a loss to Hawaii. In Hawaii, I think that's a big deal. So take San Diego State -3. And then TCU, 4.5-point underdog at BYU. Coovert, that offense is flying for TCU. They're coming off of a loss, and this has been a hectic year. So I think TCU will bounce back. I think they could even win. Yeah, I got a little loose this week. I was kind of like, it's the end of the season. I was looking at Duke, 6.5-point favorite. There's a reason there's a 6.5-point favorite.
Right.
Chandler Morris is out for Virginia. So, yeah.
No Cougs on there.
No Cougs on there. No.
Yeah, I think we're kind of at the point in the season where that's not where it's at. But I do like the risky pick with TCU. I think that's interesting. And if they lose to TCU, I think they're done. That's it. So
if I'm being honest, WSU for me is look out next week. James Madison has been rolling a bunch of Sun Belt teams, and we're a little up and down. And if we get it at the right time, we could be on the up, and James Madison could overlook us.
Yeah, we only lost by 5 combined points to 2 ranked opponents on the road. The road hasn't been necessarily as much of a challenge as I thought this year, so maybe that's an opportunity. I do like that. But, yeah, that's going to do it for Jett's Bets. We're going to move on to Coov's Covenant, kind of a segment where you rank the top, 6 or 7 teams or whatever it is, just kind of a random thing. You want to kind of quickly explain what that is?
Coov's Covenant, this thing started with my friend Smith on the Slice of Seattle radio. We're going to keep it up here for the Crimson Corner pod. Connor's going to throw me a topic. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. And I'm going to rank my top 6 or 7 of whatever this ranking is. So let's go, Connor.
All right. So I was talking with the other Connor before this, and we were talking about breakfast food. But we're gonna get a little more specific. Cereals. Give me your top 6 or 7 cereals on the Cougs Covenant.
Wow, that's a tough one because I don't really eat cereal, but I'll try my best.
You
here.
got this. Just kind of based on the boxes, what you've tasted.
Yeah, my favorite is definitely Cheerios. That's number 1.
Oh, I like that.
For sure. You got to put Rice Krispies in there. It's a classic. I put that in there. I think Rice Krispies I'll put at 3 because I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch is my number 2 cereal. That is a good cereal. I had to stop eating it, actually. It's too much sugar in there. After that, there's a lot of kind of mid cereals in the world. I think you might have to go with a Raisin Bran at number 4. I like a good Raisin Bran. I do like a good Lucky Charms. I'll throw that in there at number 5. And I'm going to stop it at number 6. My number 6 is the Special K cereal. So those are my top 6. Cheerios, number 1, hands down the best type of cereal.
As long as they're Honey Nut Cheerios, I can get behind the number 1 pick.
Not Honey Nut.
What? Plain Cheerios.
I don't like regular Cheerios.
There's no way you're doing that for the hot take, aren't you?
With milk.
Well, obviously it's
cereal.
But not Honey Nut Cheerios. Like those things are so plain. They're fine, but like not a top 6 cereal.
I have a very sweet tooth when it comes to sweets, but when I'm not eating like a candy or something, I like to stay pretty healthy. And so the Honey Nut Cheerios is like 3 times the amount of sugar. So I got to stay healthy with my plain Cheerios and milk.
All right, I can get behind it, I guess. I don't totally agree with it. Jett, do you have just like one favorite cereal you've got, maybe?
You threw Special K out there. I'm not really a cereal guy.
Me neither.
And growing up, sugar was like, so it was plain Cheerios.
Okay.
It was like the original Special K.
Yep.
I like Wheaties.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty good. But like cereal, I'm kind of like him. I just kind of plain. I don't eat cereal much, and it's never been that sugary. So.
Right. Yeah, I can get behind that. I'm not a big cereal guy either. I mean, I kind of rock with Cocoa Puffs. Not gonna lie. I'm always down for something chocolatey in the morning. Yeah. I'm always eating like chocolate chip pancakes, or I've got like all my protein bars that I usually have just like quick eat and go. It's always like a chocolate flavor.
Yeah. What is your go-to breakfast?
Go-to breakfast? Good question. I mean, is this on a daily basis, or is this like on just if I could have the perfect breakfast?
Daily basis, go-to breakfast, like on a regular.
I always do a Nature Valley peanut butter chocolate bar.
Okay.
Just on the go.
I like
that's my favorite. Or if I'm feeling special on the weekends, it's gonna be a chocolate chip pancake. But yeah. How about you guys, just real quick?
I'm doing scrambled eggs on a slice of toast with some avocado. It's great.
Nice. Sounds good.
Oh, I'm a breakfast guy. I always whip it up. Waffles, pancakes, French toast. I always got to make something.
Wow. So you're a chef.
Breakfast is where it's at.
Oh, I love it. And breakfast might be the best meal, not gonna lie.
Oh, by far. Not even close.
It's definitely up there, if not the best. So I like that. Anyway, thanks for coming on the podcast, you guys.
Yeah, of course.
Today, I appreciate it. And go Cougs, guys.
Go Cougs.
Alrighty.